What's going on, everyone? Happy Friday. Hopefully everyone is doing well and having a great day so far. It is time now for the Friday weather update for Friday, December 27th, 2024. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where I do the as-needed weather updates for the United States. Today we're going to talk about severe weather, heavy rainfall, and a little bit about winter weather. We're not going to get too far into the long range today because the next couple of days really require our attention. That's right, there is going to be a severe weather outbreak this weekend. Yeah, it may be the end of December, but severe weather can happen at this time of year, and the ingredients are starting to come together. So if you're new to my channel, subscribe down below, give this video a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, share this video with anyone you know, and of course, leave your comments down below. Without wasting any time, let's talk about the severe weather that happened yesterday. Things did pan out. I think the Storm Prediction Center did a very good job with yesterday's forecast. There ended up being 8 tornado reports. Could still be some ongoing storm surveys. And that was mainly in Texas and Louisiana. There were 7 wind reports and 3 hail reports. 18 storm reports total. Taking a look at NATOcast. We have not looked at this product in quite some time, but I think it does require us to take a look at it for day 2, which is tomorrow, Saturday. Pretty widespread area of tornado percent chances. And you can see here, there is a bullseye in and around central Mississippi. I am fairly concerned about tomorrow's tornado threat. There's going to be a lot of moisture that streams in from the Gulf of Mexico with a boundary coming through. The dew points are going to be higher than normal for this time of year. There will be some instability. There will be some wind shear to work with. Yes, this is getting pretty concerning. There will definitely be a wind threat, and there will be the threat for tornadoes tomorrow. And with the wind shear being impressive, there could be the threat of a few isolated, stronger tornadoes. Yes, the calendar may say late December. That does not matter. If the setup is ripe, a setup can produce tornadoes. And really, this does go from Texas all the way into Georgia and maybe even up into portions of Tennessee and south central Kentucky as well. Taking a look at the latest satellite loop, and we do see there is a lot of clouds in the midsection of the country. That's going to make its way into the east. And if you're in the northeast, this is really your last sunny day for quite some time. It is going to be cloudy and then storm system after storm system in the east. Also, if you're in the west coast, you may note there's a little bit of a lull at the moment. Not going to last. Another storm system is getting ready to move in. Take a look at the wind map for today. We do see the moisture flow coming out of the Gulf of Mexico in the southeast. And that is not only warming up the temperatures, it's bringing more moisture into the atmosphere. But take a look in Texas. You do see there's a westerly flow. Then you see that turn where the winds start to turn north. That's the system we're going to be watching as that pushes east and intercepts with this warm, moist air coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. And then you also see the Pacific Northwest. Yep, pretty active there in the Pacific. And we do see, at the moment, still some showers in Seattle, Idaho, and eastern Oregon. But you are about to get a break before another system does eventually come. Midsections of the country is seeing some showers at this time. Keyword showers. This is a warm system. And there are some showers and isolated thunderstorms just to the east of New Orleans. Actually, a little bit of a training segment going on there. That's some pretty heavy rainfall. That will be another piece to the puzzle as well. And across the northern Rockies, yeah, some of that is actually falling as snow. We do have showers in and around Miami today. Maybe you're spending Christmas break, the holidays down there. Yeah, not the best of weather for you today. Taking a look at the National Hazards Map, we do see something that is very widespread in the plains, and that is fog. There is a lot of dense fog advisories up in that area. In the Northeast, we do note there are winter weather advisories for portions of northeast Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, New York State, Connecticut, Massachusetts, southern Vermont, and that may also get included for New Hampshire and southern Maine at some point as well. The threat of a glaze of ice does exist. In the Pacific Northwest, we do see a wide range of things. Flood watches, high wind warnings, winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings, wind advisories. Yes, it is going to be very active out there, and there will even be avalanche potential up in portions of Montana and even in portions of Idaho. Some avalanches have already occurred, so this is something you do want to take seriously over the next several days. There's been a lot of snow, and now conditions are becoming ripe for the potential for avalanches. Taking a look at power outages, there have been some power outages in Mississippi. 11,744 people without power out of 1 million customers there. But again, I think we're going to see more power outages show up in the southeast. We may even see some show up in the Pacific Northwest as well. All right, here's the update from the Storm Prediction Center. There has been an increase for tomorrow's forecast, and that has been to an enhanced risk. They did put a note at the top here of their homepage. An active severe weather day is expected Saturday into Saturday night, with severe storms likely from East Texas across lower Mississippi Valley into parts of the Tennessee Valley. Large hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes are likely, potentially including a few strong EF2 plus tornadoes. So, yeah, this is getting concerning. But first off, there is a marginal risk today across portions of southern Mississippi and Alabama. Mobile, Alabama, you're right on the middle of this. New Orleans, you're on the edge. Jacksonville, this is east of you. Isolated tornado wind and hail threat. The bigger concern is tomorrow and, you know what, to some degree, Sunday as well. First off, there is a 10% threat of tornadoes across portions of central Mississippi and portions of Louisiana and even southeast portions of Arkansas. This is a hatched area, 5% around that, 2% around that as well. Wind threat 30%, hail is 15% as well. I am concerned that there will be definitely a few tornadoes tomorrow. And take a look at this. Marginal risk on Sunday from Florida all the way up into Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And within that, there is a slight risk of severe storms from Roanoke, Virginia, Raleigh, North Carolina, Greensboro, Charlotte, Columbia, South Carolina, just east of Atlanta, and Columbus, Georgia. And there could once again be an isolated tornado, wind threat, and hail threat. We'll have to watch how this threat evolves. I believe it's going to be more so of a squall line with this threat, but any individual cell that gets going out ahead of this could produce a potential tornado warning. So that is something we will obviously have to keep our eyes on. Taking a look at the Weather Prediction Center fronts, we can see next system will move into the northwest this evening. Here's that next system moving into the northeast. We can see there's that icing potential for New York State and portions of New England. That will also include New Hampshire, Maine, and Vermont. Here's the stormy weather tomorrow evening. Again, a reminder, or actually, not again, I didn't say this, a reminder, some of these storms will be in the overnight time frame. Nighttime tornadoes are very dangerous. They're harder to spot. Make sure you have a weather radio at the ready so you know what is going on if you do get a tornado warning in the southeast. And, you know, the same can be said for portions of the East Coast, because some of that threat will be ongoing into Sunday morning. Then Monday, still some rain in the northeast, will start to clear out before the next system comes on Tuesday. In between, take a look at this. The northern plains, yes, there will be some snow, mainly southern South Dakota, North Dakota, and Nebraska. You will get in on this. Then the next system comes on Tuesday before, hey, take a look at that. A lake effect event does set up over the Great Lakes, and then maybe another system in the Pacific Northwest. 1 through 7 days precipitation total does show higher amounts in the east, dry area in between in portions of the plains, and very wet in the Pacific Northwest. You do have that day 7 system that's starting to show up into the mix now. Widespread 5 to 7 inches of precipitation, and snow in the mountains will be measured in feet. You do see here a little concern. Heavier precipitation area in western North Carolina, South Carolina, and northern Georgia. I know that does get scary for some people who live in that area, just because what happened earlier in the year with Helene. I don't think it's going to be a major flood, but there could be some minor flooding if that much precipitation does occur. So obviously it's something we'll have to keep a close eye on. And flooding will also be a concern. Even where the severe weather is, there could be some flash flooding within some of these storm segments. And then the northeast, between 3 different systems, you are going to see heavier rainfall accumulation. Alright, let's take a look at the HRRR model, and we can see here on the 12Z HRRR, there'll be some ongoing storms today across portions of Mississippi and Alabama. Nothing widespread when it comes to severe weather. It's tomorrow that we'll have to watch. But first, we are going to take a stop here. Take a look in portions of the Northeast. You see a little bit of pink showing up. That is the mix of ice that is expected tomorrow. Anywhere from northeast Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, into Maine could be fair game for that. I think New York City will mainly be plain rain, and then we'll just see showers ongoing throughout the day there, and really lasting into Sunday where there could be some heavier rainfall. Now, taking a look at the southeast, and that's going to be our focus here for a little bit. Look at these clusters that do set up tomorrow evening. Yes, they are significant, but I also want you to see the dew points that set up ahead of this system. You can see they go into the mid to upper 60s, which is impressive for this time of year, and that does allow for a large swath of instability. And as I advance this to the end, you see that instability does start to push eastward into portions of Georgia. Even South Carolina gets a little bit of instability, so that's something we have to keep an eye on. Also, look at this. Very heavy rainfall showing up here. You can see where these darker purples are. That's over 5 inches of rainfall. Any area, like in Mississippi, Alabama, even northern Georgia, northern South Carolina, and western North Carolina, any of those darker areas, that's where there could be localized flash flooding. Going back to the severe weather threat, take a look what happens here with this. And you can see these cells really get going. Any of these individualized cells could potentially produce a tornado. And you can see at the end of the run here, there is a pretty strong squall line that is going here. There would be a wind threat. Any little hooks on this? Yeah, that could be the potential for an isolated tornado or two. Let's take a look at the latest 3 km NAM, and this will take us out further in time. First off, looking at what happens tomorrow. You can see first thing in the morning, quiet, but watch what happens tomorrow afternoon. First off, Louisiana, then Mississippi, then Alabama. Things really get going. And there's a pretty vigorous squall line showing up here on the NAM model. There's one squall line. There's even a second squall line that shows up. And that could be the one that produces maybe a few isolated tornadoes. Maybe even in the Carolinas, there could be a few tornado warnings should this pan out. And then taking a look at the NAM run, we can see that will continue to the east, but the severe weather threat should diminish as this gets closer to the coast. Taking a look here at the GFS, and we can see the next system does come on shore in the Pacific Northwest this evening. Heavy rains, mountain snows, and really it's going to remain showery there all weekend long. There could be some heavier precipitation on Sunday, and we see in the Northeast heavier precipitation comes in on Sunday. An inch to an inch and a half of rain is not out of the question. Could be locally higher amounts by the time the weekend is done. Then the next system comes. That one does transfer, so there could be a mix of rain and snow across portions of Vermont, New Hampshire, upstate New York. Not talking a lot of snow. Highest snow amounts would be in the state of Maine. And behind that, things do turn colder as we enter January. And that's going to be the case for the first part of January. But take a look here. The GFS, in its mid to longer range, is showing another severe weather threat in the south. Not so sure I agree with that just yet, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. And behind that particular trough, it turns even colder. So the first week in January at this time is really looking cold. 6 to 10 day Climate Prediction Center outlook. Below average precipitation in the south, although the southeast, this could be a little bit overdone. But behind this severe weather threat for the weekend, it will dry out. Slightly above average in the northwest. Again, there's that new system that's showing up in the day 7 time frame. We'll have to keep our eyes on that. And the northeast, slightly above average precipitation. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Below average is starting to increase in the east, except for New England. Above average in the west. And again, New England slightly above average. 8 to 14 day precipitation. You're not seeing a strong precipitation signal in the northeast, which means not a big snow signal. Northern plains, this is a snow signal for you in the 8 to 14 day outlook. And below average precipitation in the southwest, where you really do need the rain. Well below average temperatures showing up now in the east. I think that is appropriate. There will be some days where the mid-Atlantic highs will be at or below freezing. Yes, that is possible to start January, and above average temperatures in the west coast. Alrighty, folks, that does it for the Friday edition of the Weather Update. We'll have another update some point over the weekend. especially on that severe weather threat for tomorrow. If you enjoy this update, give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, hit that notification bell, share this video with anyone you know, leave your comments down below, and remember to follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter, at Climate Data Report on Blue Sky, and it's at Climate Data RPT on X. I will be tweeting about the severe weather because I am very concerned about this in the southeast for tomorrow, especially given some of this will happen in the overnight time frame, which makes things more dangerous. So please be weather aware if you live in that area this weekend. Alrighty, folks, thanks for watching, and I will see you again next time.